what was it like in your life and business before we started working together?
Well, I think my answer is going to be, probably different from what most people say. I think you came into my life in a strange and serendipitous way. I didn't even know what I needed until we accidentally ran into each other. So, I won a raffle basket that had a lot of prizes in it that had to do with sort of coaching and advising and women's empowerment. And I was supposed to go to this conference that you were hosting, and COVID had other ideas. And so I really just took from that all of those resources, those books, and didn't really think anything of it. And then in the spring of this year, a friend from that school and that raffle reached out and said, "Hey, you won this basket, and you were supposed to go to this conference, and the organizer wants to reach out to you and make sure that you actually get something out of winning that basket. Are you okay with me giving her your phone number?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, that'd be great." And really simultaneously had been flirting with this idea of creating an association or organization for women who had served in special operations. And it was really just sort of musing while I was driving to and from work about, what a great community it is, and wouldn't it be cool if we had some place to go where we could sort of empower each other and mentor each other and, network and all of those things. And was really sort of taken aback that didn't already exist. And that's sort of where it stopped. So to answer your original question, that's where we were when I called you back and said, "Hey, a friend said I needed to reach out to you, and how are things, and what are your thoughts?" And you asked me a question about where you could help, and I had just been thinking about that day, and that's where we started. And so it was kismet or a blessing or a serendipity or fate that really that happened within this sort of same 7-day period that I was flirting with this idea and didn't really know, or just thought it was a great idea, and probably would have stopped there had you not come in and say, this is something you probably should do, and I would love to help you do that.
Amazing. Yes, it was serendipitous indeed. And I would love to hear what results or impact have you been able to create since that first conversation. I mean, it's such important work that you're doing, bringing women and girls together. What is it that you all are up to now?
So we're not there yet, but I think we're definitely much, much closer than we were when it was just a spark of an idea. So I think through, your sort of coaching me through how to take an idea and turn it into a plan. We've been able to, reserve domain space, work on our kind of branding and speak to what our mission and vision is, make sure that we're using kind of the right language to speak to the right population. We've crafted a logo. We have a plan for pulling together the business and then transitioning it into a nonprofit. We've created sort of a larger group of like-minded women unofficially on Facebook, and we have about 375 members, and actually grew those 375 members based on that mission and vision in less than a week. And we're not even touching kind of what that community can look like. But we will once we get up and running. And so right now we're working on building a website, really continuing on with those branding discussions, and then our goal is to formally launch the LLC on Veterans Day of this year, and really start reaching out and touching the rest of the community of women who have served in special operations in the past.
So amazing. And I know you're saying you're not there yet, but can you give us a sense of what is the mission and vision, and what is it that we're looking to create soon here enough?
Yeah, sure. So I think that the overarching sort of the umbrella concept is there are a lot of organizations for veterans. There's a lot of organizations for wounded veterans or disabled veterans, for special operations men, men who hold special operations certifications, like Green Beret Foundation. And there's foundations that help spouses and families, but there isn't anything specific to women who have served in special operations across all of the services. So taking that in mind, the sort of overarching goal is to bring together all of those women, some of whom now own companies, some of whom now work in policy, some of whom are stay-at-home moms, some are Paralympians. They just run the gamut and bring together and sort of normalize and share our experiences and learn from each other, support each other, and really focus on positivity. And one of the things I had shared with you initially and kind of where this came from is, when I was little, I always thought of myself as more of a tomboy, and I didn't really get along with girls. But then I find that the women that I trust the most, or the people that I trust the most and really have learned the most from, have all been sort of women I've served with. And for some reason, we learn when we're younger that we need to compete with each other, and that that it's a zero-sum game. And I want to get rid of that. I think we should, fix each other's crowns and really like have a huge network of women behind you that are rooting for you and cheering for you and pulling for you and helping you get to where you need to go. And so that's the initial umbrella goal. And I think that we will branch out from that to really driving that message home with young girls and young women.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Jenna, that's just so inspiring. And my last question is, how does it make you feel that you are on your way to creating that vision?
I can't pick one feeling. I will say, I think every time I've spoken to you, I've started off feeling extremely overwhelmed and anxious, and like maybe it's always going to stay an idea, and you just have a way of breaking it down into bite-sized pieces and being such a cheerleader and such an advocate. And it really kind of makes you, at the end of a 30-minute phone call, you come out of it with a plan, and you come out of it with this sense of, I feel this sort of sense of optimism, and like I can do anything, right? I can do anything as long as Joni's behind me and I have kind of her guidance leading me in the right direction. So I feel less anxious for sure, excited for what the future holds, and for sure, like maybe I've fallen into something that I should have fallen into, but probably wouldn't have had it not been for your help.
Amazing, Jenna. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so proud of you. I mean, our first conversation to this one, it's just leaps and bounds. And I know that the best is yet to come, and I'm honored to be part of it. So
No,
thank you.
Thank you for everything you've done.